I gotta get contact.
Welcome, everybody. Cookie's so hot over there, he's fogging up his glasses.
Man.
Yep. This is also not us being back. This is how much of a problem we have.
This is number 3 of us not being back.
Yeah, this is how much of a problem we have. But we did talk about what we're going to be doing today in the last, can we call it an episode? I guess it's still an episode.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're still going an hour and a half, even though we keep saying we're going to keep them short.
Yeah, short and sweet. So in the last episode, we did talk about how we merged with a woman named Erin who has run Jupiter Theory Agency. She ran it for a while, went on hiatus. She came storming back. And then upon a conversation I had with her, she created Theory Media Group, which is going to help kind of bring authenticity back to music and journalism. And she's got a partner she works with as well, a pretty tremendous photographer out there in Los Angeles. And she created this thing, and we're kind of going to use it to protect the people that she has signed under her Jupiter Theory Agency as far as like what gets out there with their image and things like that, but also like you'll hear us say 1,000 times, bring authenticity back to journalism and music. It's too much of just like bitchy blogs and people trying to trash each other versus it being real stuff. It will expand to more music things, like maybe some review things, concert reviews, the whole, like, I guess a quasi publication, an e-publication in a sense. But it's a cool thing because as Cookie explained it way back in our photography episode, that's where Cookie cut his teeth in photography. Was in the music scene in Dallas, which is an awesome music scene down there in Deep Ellum, especially. Yep. I'm shooting concerts and stuff now. Plus, I was in a band, and we've talked about our friend Jeremy, which has just been a ruckus every time I played an acoustic show.
Yeah. There's an irony to this because it was. We were still in. I'm pretty sure we were still in Dallas at the time. I don't know that we were dealing with this too much when we were in New Mexico, but maybe a little bit. But we had this idea a long time ago to do like an actual physical publication surrounding the music scene. And it was going to start kind of in Florida. That was actually where you first introduced me to Amanda because she was going to help with that. And then obviously cover the Dallas area and make it, a publication that would just go out monthly, would be one of those kind of free pick-me-ups like you see at clubs occasionally, and just covering the scene and doing it honestly, but not tearing anybody down. And that's kind of the idea here, is be honest, but not tear anybody down. But, we're also not going to BS anybody.
Yeah, we're not going to like sugarcoat. If someone's not doing great or something happens, like we'll still talk about it, but we're not going out with intent, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, so this is something actually it's going to be pretty cool. Erin will actually be on our show as a guest as well come season 2, which will basically be kicking off at the end of this month. And I mean, she does a ton. She's a woman.
By the way, Happy New Year.
Oh my God, Happy New Year. It is New Year's Day right now as we're
doing this. Yeah, Happy New Year.
Clearly, Cookie and I were out partying so hard last night. Yeah. We forgot today was...
I was, I think we texted each other. I was asleep, or at least in bed, by about 8:30. Left Holdfast Brewing, went up to see another, speaking of music, Tweedle and her dad, John Tweed, Sarah Tweedle and John Tweed.
Those are pretty cool videos you sent too, yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked about getting them on. They're on board with coming on. Now that we're doing this full-on music day, that'll be a good time for them as well. But they were amazing last night in a setting I've never seen them play. It was the jazz band that comes every Tuesday night to Holdfast. They came out to do basically jazz standards, and it was spectacular.
Cool. Oh, it was that was at Holdfast?
Yeah, I was at Holdfast.
Oh, cool. I didn't even realize that's where that was.
Well, the videos I sent you where the band was set up, that's where we set up for the coaches show, that same spot.
The universal hosting spot, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But no, it was special, but I was home. They finished at about 8:00. I had my champagne toast, and I live 5 minutes from there. So I was home and in bed by 8:30. And the only reason I woke up at midnight wasn't so much the fireworks going off around me. It was the uncomfortable amount of gunfire going off around me. People just firing away into the air. And it was clearly gunfire.
Yeah, so I had my game yesterday afternoon, the 12:30 game. I actually feel bad for the players. As soon as our game was over, they had to go on a plane because they played in Ottawa today. They had a back-to-back. And I come home. I got home. I don't remember what time I texted you and I got home. I'm like, I'm going to be in bed by 9, 10 o'clock easily. I was up only because the people I play video games with, David and Sierra, have like they found this video game thing you're able to do on Discord of all things. And so it wasn't even our normal games. We were just up playing this, and it was almost just like deranged Mad Libs it turned into. And it was actually kind of funny, but it was like 1 o'clock. And I was like, guys, I'm going to bed. I cannot stay awake another minute. I was so dead tired. And
when I finally woke up at midnight to the gunfire, I did hear, and I wish I was kidding about that. I really do. I did see a text from John from about an hour and a half before that saying, you did do a post for New Year's for our social media, right? I'm like, I'm not even responding because I'm not supposed to be awake right now.
The funny part is because I was about to do one, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, I'm almost
we had just discussed this before because it was the whole tuxedo thing.
Yeah, well, that was the funny part is I love the tuxedo thing so much I forgot what it was for.
Yeah, yeah, the tuxedo thing. And for those that got really confused by my post last week, that was AI, people. I am 50 pounds heavier than that.
Hey, man, Hims, we've already talked about you before.
Hims.
So
Hims, man, hit me up. I'm down 100%. I say I'm only half joking when I say that. Let's do this. I'm in.
I mean,
I'm a great before and hopefully a good after.
I saw the people commenting on your thing. They're like, whoa, Cookie. But you know what, man? It's inspiring. You look at it, you're like, damn. However, I do want a version. I want my isolated cartoon.
That is the problem. That is a bit of a problem because I look at that going, yeah, that's all right.
Like, I would smash that.
Yeah, that's 40, 50 pounds lighter. That looked all right.
Yeah, you know, I mean, just imagine how much less my feet would hurt when I'm on skates.
Yeah, how less everything on me would hurt just daily.
Yeah, so Hims, we put it out there, brothers. But watch it be all women that run it, and I sat there and just called them brothers, and women are like, we're sick of looking at you.
I mean, there is Hims and hers, and it's the same organization, but they have a Hims and they have a hers.
Oh, nice. There you go. Yeah, the Hims, it's like I'm sitting there saying brother, and it's just like women. They're like, we're sick of looking at your moose body. Please fix it. Take these.
John.
But so
on that note,
back to music. We do have Erin and Taylor joining us from California. So if it looks nice and sunny in the background, it probably is.
It's nice and sunny here actually today.
Oh, really? It's like high 20s here right now. So we got the cold.
We're well into the 50s with sunshine.
All right. Well, here are Erin and Taylor. This is Erin and Taylor here. Erin, as we mentioned, is the head of the Jupiter Theory Agency, which we're going to get into. Taylor's a Los Angeles-based photographer, which every conversation I have with him, I have to let him know how awesome his work is because I'm fanboying over it for sure. But we have Erin and Taylor joining us. Erin, you're also in Los Angeles now, correct?
I'm actually in Orange County, but we're headquartered in Los Angeles.
Okay, awesome. Well, first thing is the Jupiter Theory Agency. When I talked to you, you told me this was something you had a while back, and then you kind of took on a hiatus. So tell us a little bit about like where it started from, and then when you took the break and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jupiter Theory Agency, which I know is kind of like an interesting name, it really has to do with the jumping Jupiter theory, which actually it's like about evolution of space and stuff like that. Just kind of, I'm a total nerd, but we started back in 2006. And it went for about 2 years. I had an ex-partner that I started the company with. We did graphic design. We did all the booking for bands. And we had almost 27 bands on our roster in 2 years. And it really came out of two things. The MySpace boom at that time. Also being on tour with a band that had just started with Epitaph. I just came off that tour and had relocated back to the East Coast and started this agency like almost immediately. So yeah, it was super fun back then. Very, very underground scene, you know, especially in Philly and the East Coast. I mean, we were doing like church basements, things like that, all the way up to, you know, the VFW halls, all those things. Super fun. And, you know, took a hiatus because I had a family. I got married to my partner at the time who I had the agency with, and we had 3 kids. And, you know, it just wasn't going to cut it for us because we were also touring with these bands when we were single or like, you know, in a couple relationships. So once we decided to have a family and get married, we were just like, there's no way this is sustainable. So somebody's got to go to work and get a 9 to 5. And that was me. And that was the end of Jupiter Theory at that time.
And were you doing the same thing as you're doing now? Like, I know now you're big into like the AR and PR side of things, like protecting. That's what I use the word protecting a lot with you guys, as you notice. Because in the sports world, like that's very much what PR is more than anything. It's protecting the brand. But you know, just making sure the image and outreach of these bands is all, you know, pretty constant, consistent, and also not something that's going to end up anybody in jail or getting canceled, especially this day and age. So were you doing the same thing back then with these acts?
Oh no, there was a whole lot of debauchery going on, I'm sure. Even for myself. I mean, I ran security for a lot of these shows, things like that. I mean, I had to pick a chick up one time and throw her over my shoulder and get her out of there. So yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So, no, but this was back in the day when you could pretty much get away with anything. So now, as a more seasoned professional, someone that has so much experience in the corporate world, I'm all about protecting the IP, you know, all of that. Their image is everything, like how they present themselves and future opportunities. We see stuff like this all the time. I mean, there's a lot of magazines and things like that, or I would say e-zines, you know, that will post these crazy trigger headlines it's clickbait, you know, I mean, a lot of the time, but you just have to shake your head because you're just like, what are you doing? Like, information travels so quickly, like, why are you doing the things you do? And I think that's why it's really important to have a good manager like me.
Picking a chick up over your shoulder and carrying her out, how very Jersey girl of you.
It is. It's very goalie-esque, a very hockey thing for me to do. So yeah, I was the goalie, by the way, and just so you guys know, I was a hockey goalie. I played all the way from 10 years old to college. And I was the goalie that would take my stick and put it in between your the blade and the boot, and I would pull you to get you out of my crease. So, or hit you with my blocker in the back of the knee to get you out of my crease. So,
you're talking to two people who would have been likely punched by you. That was the type of player. That was the type of players both Cookie and myself were. He was just a lot better at getting points than I was.
I want to move to Taylor real quick. Obviously, this is the first time meeting both of you. John's talked to you guys quite a bit, is my understanding. But as someone who, back when I was still doing photography, I don't know if John's mentioned this, I got my start in photography, well, from a professional level anyways, doing music photography, local bands in the Dallas area, and kind of connected with a couple bands and ended up working with them primarily in touring Texas. But which included a lot of other things, including being the merchandise guy and a lot of other nonsense. Just kind of, as you guys know, when it's the small bands, you have a lot of hats to wear. So, but what got you into photography in general to begin with, and then obviously into the music side of things?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. It goes all the way back to high school. You know, I was bored in school, and one year, I think it was my sophomore year, I got nominated to be on the yearbook staff. And that's when I was like, well, I like the idea of a free period, but I'm not a writer. What else can I do? And my dad was a hobby photographer. His dad had an interest in photography. So I picked up the camera, and that first year, we have a hometown fair where I grew up, and they would have local bands play. And I took this one photo of this kid with dreadlocks. His name's Sean. He was a grade younger than me, but at the end of the year, this is my first time picking up a camera, and I ended up getting the best photo in the yearbook with that photo from live concert photography. And, so around that same time, my first concert ever was Warped Tour. I was 13 years old, and I had backstage access because my mom somehow knew Joe Escalante from the Vandals. And at that point, You know, I was like, I never want to be in general admission again. I want to be behind the scenes. So I got into doing, you know, the house shows in high school, and then once I got old enough, I started bringing my camera to shows. I remember I was 17, 18 years old, and the girl who was cutting my hair was dating, I don't know if you remember the white boy rapper Dirt Nasty, the actor Simon Rex. He was playing the Roxy, and she invited me to come photograph it. So that was like my first like known artist that I photographed. Photos were terrible, but you know, I got that high that I just wanted to keep doing this, and yeah, I just stuck with it. You know, with that it goes, I have to do every other kind of photography as well. There's 10 years that I worked actually with magicians and kind of pulled myself out of music. I was the Magic Castle's in-house photographer, which I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's like it's the prestigious club for magicians, and yeah. So and
They
it's
let
cool
you in
because
the door to do that, or are you kind of stuck in the front?
I was brought in when I was 24 years old, and then I kind of just stayed there because, you know, having a cushion job with a steady pay as a photographer and health benefits, hard to come by. So, you know, you latch onto that.
But that's a big deal, though. Being a non-magician, getting that kind of access to that place, that's not a small thing.
It takes a lot of trust. You know, I ended up learning a lot of the magic and stuff, and I had to live stream these lectures for the magicians as well. So I'm, you know, listening to everything, and so I kind of became a confidant in that. And it's cool because there's a lot of crossovers between music and magic. My friend Rob Zabrecki, he was in the grunge band Possum Dixon back in the '90s, and
way.
He when he got sober, he left his music career and got into magic, and now he does seances. I mean, I could go on and on. There was a point where we did a seance at the Comedy Store for their 50th anniversary for the Pauly Shore and his family. I don't know if I should really talk about that occasion because that was quite an interesting night, but yeah, no, it's and now I'm just straying away from the original question, but
great.
You know, I got into it in high school and I stuck with it. You know, there's been times where, you know, it starts to, like magic, you hit a wall with creativity sometimes, and you gotta just find other ways to keep things creative and flowing. And so, like, my mentor, Ed Culver, he only shot live shows for about 2 to 3 years, but the amount of iconic photographs he has from those 2 to 3 years, and then he went into studio work and mostly worked with bands that way. And so, you know, any way I can be involved in music, that's the ideal for me.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, if you go on tangents, you're in the right place. We have our PhD. Yeah. We have our PhD in tangents.
Yeah, we almost renamed the whole podcast just tangents.
I mean, I love that. I think we should have an offshoot for just
that's all we do.
outtakes, you know.
So how much, you know, between live shoots and are you doing studio stuff as well? Kind of what's a balance?
Yeah, so like I do like that's how Erin and I met. Well, we met through my friend Jeff, and he put us in contact because she had a band that she needed media for and a new set of promotional shots. And so, you know, one morning we met up at 7 a.m. in Elysian Park to catch the early kind of smoggy park kind of vibe. And you know, I do in studio stuff as well, BTS stuff. I was in the studio recently with the members of the Blood Brothers. They've got a new project going on called Evil Island. So they brought me in on their first like couple weeks in the studio just to, because occasionally I will pick up a video camera, not my forte, but so I did some BTS video of them, you know, starting out this album. Yeah, I try and get in anywhere I can. If you go to my Instagram, there's a lot of my portrait work as well. I also work with musicians. I just did portraits for this guy who's on the show Operation Repo on on True TV. Matt, the guy with the handlebar mustache. I just did portraits for his documentary coming up. And
oh wow,
yeah. I love getting in a studio. Lighting is something I just love to mess with and get creative with. So.
We were kind of going along the same plane until you said that. I just, in my photography days, I hated the studio. I needed the live action. I could not stand the studio. It was too, for me anyways, it was just a little too stagnant. But
when you get a hang of the lighting though, and you start seeing what can come out from the different lighting, it's pretty cool when you're like, oh man, like I can make this look like this just by moving a light. You can change the whole mood.
Oh, everything. Yeah.
I will agree though. Once I've got my lighting set up and we've got the shots, it feels like all of a sudden the shoot just went really quick, and I feel like I've underperformed because I'm used to being at a concert where I'm there for 3 or 4 hours getting all my shots. I did a New Year's Eve party last night for 2 hours. I have 1,200 photographs from it. I ended up pulling about 200 that I wanted to send over. It's so like Operation Repo, we were in the studio for about 45 minutes, and I'm just like, shit, did I get what he needs? Yeah, it starts to feel like you can only do so much, especially with an older man like that. I'm not going to have him jumping around and doing backflips.
Hey, us old guys are all right. Don't worry about it.
So now, like basically, like I kind of explained on our last episode we did, I talked a little bit about how I kind of discovered who Erin was. Is our buddy Frankus and Until the Avalanche. I just noticed he followed this page, and I checked it out. I saw his music stuff, and I really didn't know much about what was going on. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to reach out and just kind of with some ideas that I've been sitting on. And Erin, before you came on, me and Cookie were even talking about how when he and I coached together in New Mexico, we kicked around the idea of starting an actual publication in music and stuff. We had people in Florida ready to help us. I had a sports magazine when I lived in Florida for a short period of time. And we'll admit it to everybody. Like we were getting paid so little, we could barely afford to coach, which is what we were there to do, let alone start a whole publication. But it's just been kind of sitting there. And then almost all of our episodes, we talk about music, we talk about what people are doing in it. We're both huge fans of a bunch of YouTube channels run by either musicians or roadies or like the drum tech from Falling in Reverse. Like that guy's page is cool, but kind of like Taylor too. Like I can sit there and do studio stuff, and I just want to rip my eyes out after a while. But shooting hockey and shooting concerts, especially shooting concerts, is like, I mean, Erin knows. I mean, you're in hockey, you're in it for life. It's the ultimate fraternity. Yeah. But shooting concerts, like you never know what's going to happen. Sports can be predictable, even something as fast as hockey. Concerts, it's something great, and you get a rush from it. I remember photographing While She Sleeps. The singers are great when they see the photographers, the ones who want to engage, they'll engage with you. And I got just a whole series of photos until he flips me off, and it's right on camera. And it was just like so cool because everyone was like, "Oh," because I was the only one he did that to. And like all I could think about was getting
a reason for that, John.
Yeah, no, you do it for free, but I got out of there, and I can't. Oh, it was While She Sleeps was opening up for Architects, which is my favorite band. And when I got out of there, all I could think of was I want to get out there and get that middle finger photo and put that out. It's like one of my favorite ones. So it becomes a rush just because you never know what you're going to get. But like if you start getting the band interacting with you, you know it's going to be a good night for you. So, I reached out and just talked about wanting to get into the music world. And we talked about starting our music podcast day. And then there was Erin's page popped up. I was like, perfect. Like, because we need kind of like a vehicle to go with that. So, I reached out to Erin. And then the next thing I heard from Erin was like she started Theory Media Group. And clearly was something she's probably been sitting on for quite some time too. She immediately told me about Taylor. So, I mean, when I emailed you, and then everything just started rolling. Like, what was the whole mindset? What were you thinking about?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I feel like I've always wanted to do this, both sides of this business, my whole life. I feel so influenced and very lucky and blessed to have two coasts that were my influence, right? Growing up 15 minutes outside of Manhattan, doing some crazy things, I can admit, on air, like saying I'm sleeping over someone's house and scrounging up change to take the bus into the city to like go to a club. Like not just a club like the Tunnel or the Limelight, and I'm 13 years old. And they didn't even like, it's not like today where they're like, oh, let me card you. You're just like walking right in, I didn't pay anything. I walked right in, me and my friends, and we're literally at the Tunnel. So that was some fun club stuff. But, as far as like the media side of things, I think it's incredibly important from not only like a preservation perspective, but like to give true behind the scenes accounts of bands, the industry, how people perceive music, what people's stories are, and how it's changed their lives. Because I can assure you, not only just being a fan of music, all kinds of music, by the way. I know my one side of the business is very metal, deathcore, metalcore, black and metal, all that stuff. But I truly love everything, even a little country every now and then. I know, John, that's not your thing, but every once in a while, I'm like, I feel like I need to sit on my front porch with the Coors. I don't know, maybe a Coors Banquet. But I think, just we grew up in the best times, I think. I know that every generation probably says that, but having access to like the musical acts and artists in 80s, 90s, 2000, like early 2000s is just so pivotal in everything I did. Not only from the way that I dress, the way that I look, the fashion side of things, art. That is what I want to portray and be able to put out there for Theory Media Group, and bringing Taylor on is so critical for that as our creative media director to really pull it all through,
I would agree. I think it's important to tell those stories. And we mentioned Frankus a few times already. Mm-hmm. He's a prime example because I'm one of those guys that's not a big fan of the death metal and all that kind of stuff. And his kind of music isn't my style. But what an amazing human being he is, and the story he has to tell through his music and through coming on to, like our podcast, and just getting to know these people on the human level, understanding that there's also for some an image they're trying to portray that you don't want to, take away from that. But he's also he's one that's trying to portray the image. Yes, this is the music I do, but this is the person I am. He's not ashamed of that, not afraid of that. In fact, he's quite open about that. And I think those are the important stories that need to be out there for people like me that normally wouldn't even have known that, because I wouldn't listen to that without having the opportunity to talk to him or hear his story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because that ended up becoming Cookie's favorite episode of our of our first season. So, but yeah, I mean, there's just so much going on in the world, and like, the great thing is just like, especially with Taylor, like having all these different ideas, even than the email I sent to Erin. So like, it's a huge blessing and could possibly be our curse at the same time, because like I had so many ideas, and Cookie knows what it's like, where I'm just like, I have an idea and I just do it. I'm very terrible at
does that a lot.
I'm very terrible at going over it with them.
By the way, Cookie, this is happening. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So, but just having those kind of ideas and having someone like Taylor that is in tune with it. Like even when we were texting the other day, I was like, oh, this look is back. And you're like, it's been back. And I'm just like, oh my God. So, I mean, it's like, Taylor, have you ever worked on the fashion side of things other than just like your studio work, or is it just something you've always seen?
I actually have. I, for a little bit, was working in fast fashion, doing just studio lookbook stuff. I'd go in for about 2-3 hours, and we do about 70 different, catalog looks. Obviously, that's not stuff that's like in style. This was specifically a brand that sold their clothes in like the Caribbean, but based in LA. Very weird, and owned by Koreans. It was a very interesting company. I had at one point done some work for Complex for their big convention out in Las Vegas, which is very fashion forward. And for that, I had to learn a lot of brands. specifically worked with a brand out of China, which is like one of the biggest fashion brands, called Clot. They had done a collaboration with Adidas, and so I had to go and shoot their booth and everything. And I see Erin's rocking the Adidas.
Cookie.
But
Cookie's a major fan of Adidas.
I'm a nerd. I'm an Adidas nerd.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of have to blame my last ex for she worked in fashion, and I was a jeans and band shirt kind of guy, and then even then she let me know that I could still be into fashion and still have my taste and style. Because Carhartt has their fashionable line called Carhartt Whip, which is for the kids that aren't doing blue collar work. Dickies, Vans, they all got like a next tier in lines. So I started to get a little bit more into it. I started you start to pay attention to brands you like, and then you start to see them out, and then you see the brands that you remembered hating, like Janko and Von Dutch, and then you start to see it everywhere again, and we're like, what the hell is happening?
Some things are great to come back. Some things just don't need to come back.
Janko's one of the brands I said to Taylor in that text thread the other day, and I was just like, I remember getting Janko stuff when the very first time I went to Yankee Stadium so I could fit in the Bronx, and I'm like, and he's like, oh no, that's back. And then he's like, Von Dutch is back. And I'm just like, holy crap.
Oh, it's been back, right? So I said, if Z Cavaricci's come back.
I was just about to say that. Or Gerbeau.
We have a serious problem if that comes back.
Yes. I was just about to say Z Cavaricci or Gerbeau.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Some juicy couture pants.
Oh,
I feel like that's never really died, yeah.
Oh, it never died. I don't know how. Anyway.
So, I mean, you got the fashion stuff there. And then on top of that, we also talked about like starting to bring on some writers and bring on our own photographers that, it's great having people like, I mean, especially me, Cookie, and Taylor all have a photography background that can help out with those things.
Mine's way in the background. Don't include me in that. Mine's way in the background.
But,
I haven't done that in 20-something years.
All right, we'll exploit Cookie for his journalism prowess then. But, it's one of the things we talked about is the authenticity with journalism. We joke about how about there's channels and pages out there that are there just to bash everybody, no matter how good you are. And then it's in the movie industry, like Rotten Tomatoes. I think Rotten Tomatoes was established to humble everybody because they like nothing on Rotten Tomatoes, unless it's terrible, and then they love it. I don't understand it. But, in music, it's just like you very rarely will hear about what bands did in a show, what their set list was like, what their energy was like. It was, oh, they didn't do this, so I hate them, or they did this, and blah, blah, blah. Or they're too biased as a fan. So even if they're up there being terrible, I'm sure you guys remember the band Seosin. Seosin, I've seen live a couple times. Every time I saw them live, they were awful. Their songs are great. I love their albums.
With
live,
lead singer?
I don't remember the lead singer. It was when the "I'm Not Alone" song was out.
Okay.
During that phrase, and I'm just like, oh my god! I'm like, I love this song so much, and now I'm just like, it's nails on a chalkboard. And so I was like, man, but like again, I would go like the guys in the band were awesome. They were tight. It's just like the vocals, it was pretty rough and stuff like that. But I mean, this day and age, everybody's a critic, right? Everybody's got something to say, even though they've never even done it. But to get people out there writing about bands and supporting the scene and doing stuff like that, I mean, is that something you've been sitting on for a while there too, Erin? Because I mean, we've talked a bunch about that, and whether it's having people do video reviews that we put on social media pages or on the YouTube here, with the blog that we're going to have set up running through the Theory Media Group website, and then the photos and having the archives and stuff like that, not just of bands that you represent through Jupiter Theory Agency, but just pretty much anybody in the industry just talking about them. I mean, what were you thinking about when we just even talked about the whole journalism side of things? I mean, you've got a lot of experience dealing with bands with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, not even just in that industry, I would say I have that across most major media, because I worked for AT&T and DirecTV, and I worked in customer experience and marketing for them. really promoting the biggest events that you could possibly imagine. So getting behind the scenes and really getting to know, we would also do talent interviews and really understand their talent's portfolio and how they wanted to be represented in an ad or a campaign. And just seeing that different side of the artist would tell you, like Super Bowl alone, right? Promoting anything for that was so gate kept that, you know, you could bear, like we had months and months and months of edits just to get what that artist wanted. And they said 2 words, you know, like they caught a football. No, I'm just kidding. Like, you know,
that's always fun to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. But seeing that side of things, like there's 2 parts to it. You really know how to get things done, and you need to do it from a professional perspective. But seeing the side of it where we give the artist the voice, right?
Yeah, and
they get to tell their story. We get to say, you know, they haven't been back and played at this venue in 13 years. And the crowd went amazing. Like, they went crazy. Like, talking about stuff like that alone. I actually went to a really big show, which was a Christmas present to myself, by the way. I was, like, just dying to go to this show. It was the worst show I ever went to. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not going to say who it was because it's not their fault. But I don't know, number one, how every 6'5" guy on the planet was at this venue and standing in front of me. So that's number one. I am not a tall person. Okay. So
no, I definitely wasn't there.
I don't know what the heck tickets they were selling here. Like, because every tall person was there. Every couple on the planet making out. Drunk chicks falling down all over the place. It was a sold out event. I'm getting old and I'm a little saucy. I don't really like to, if I can't get to the place that I like to stand and take photos of the bands, I'm already grumpy, you know? So I went and made friends with people at merch, and I was like, you need to contact me. One band that was the opener, honestly, they were phenomenal. They're from San Diego. They're called Chief, and those guys need to get signed, tomorrow, you know. They haven't called me back yet, but I definitely want to, you know, get a band like that. Like, they got this amazing opportunity to play House of Blues for a really what I would consider a big band, and they're unsigned, and it was, from what I understand, their 3rd show
Ever?
They've all been in other bands. They've all been in,
But as a group, yeah.
really big bands, signed bands as well, but came together to create this shoegazi, rock band. But they have a song that I just fell in love with, and of course I was fashionably late, didn't see them. We won't go there. I live 15 minutes away from this venue, but yeah, that show sucked, and I was so pissed because I'm like,
oh man,
I actually bought a ticket to this show, like a good, you know, fan. I like to support all the things, but yeah, I don't know. It was what it was. But, you know, the show that I go to, that's the show that you don't expect to be the big show, is the one that's the best. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do with the other side of the business with Jupiter Theory. And then we get to write about it when we talk, you know, in the media group side of things for Theory. So we're going to pull that all together from photography, videography, the journalism side of things, and really through, you know, my vision and the lens from Taylor.
So I know people are going to ask this, and especially if we're going to be writing about bands that are under your agency, should people sit and rest and relax about, not worry about too much bias when writing about your own acts?
Sure.
I mean, are they going to look through the real lens? I mean, it's one of those things where it's just and this is me asking the question as a cynic.
Yeah, totally. I'll take it.
You know, you can watch the news channel, whatever news channel you're watching, you know what side of the story you're going to get. But, you know, obviously you don't want to put anything out that's damaging to anybody, especially if it's that critical and stuff like that. But I mean, what kind of stuff can you expect to be written from the artist? About the artist from people when it comes to your bands in particular, because they're people will worry about bias. I mean, what can you expect? Tell people to expect.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm the number one critic. I could tell you that right now. So I'm not working with anybody that I don't believe in. If I don't like your music, I mean, why would I even represent you, right? So we'll just start right there. I mean, I have turned down work before. I have told people you're not ready. I have told people, you know, I'll help market or promote you, but you don't have enough to come under an agency at this time. I'd really like to see you do these things, and then we can talk in a year. Like, these are the things that you need to get under your belt. I'll help anybody, but I also do my due diligence and my research. And, you know, I've had a couple people say, like, oh, you shouldn't work with that band. Oh, the lead singer's this, that, whatever. And I can tell you right now, I don't like that kind of stuff because people change. Everybody's got a past, and I can assure you that I'm one of those people. I'm sure that I have haters out there. One of them being my ex.
You were carrying girls out of the club over your shoulder back at the time, so I mean, I can only imagine the violence you haven't told us about.
That girl does not remember. I can tell you that because she was drunk. But you know, look, everybody's got a past, but I can assure you that, like, we run a really tight ship too. I mean, I've told people, like, hey, I'll shred this contract right now. Like, you guys can't get it together. Like, it's just how I operate. You know, I don't want to work with people who can't represent themselves in a right way, but at the same time, it's all fair game, right? And everybody's got a choice. They really have to decide how they want to put themselves out there. Everybody that I've signed a contract with from this year, they get it. And people are getting older, right? They're getting older, and they know their time is, the clock is ticking, like the sands of time are coming through. And they know that they need to really make a run at this within this next year to make something happen.
Taylor, what are you seeing as on the creative side of this project, if you will, moving forward? Like, what's I mean, not to sound all cliche and all, but what's the vision?
You know, I'm coming over from a music blog that I helped start. Well, I've been with since the beginning of their creation. I can't take much credit for the idea. That all goes to Danny Baraz. But we were a publication that, you know, covered the LA underground. And we, you know, as we're talking about bias and opinionated articles and trashing people, you know, that blog, we evolved a lot over time, because we were that blog that had no problem, you know, picking fights with bands and stuff like that. And as we grew, you know, I kind of started to get this idea of what I have for the ideal kind of publication. It's not just about the people we're featuring, but the people that are photographing it too, because the amount of amazing photographers that I've met at these shows that you know, they don't get the visibility that I feel they should, and I feel that you know, the music scene is not as much as the bands are the biggest part of the scene. There's a lot in the background, and the people around it, I feel like you need just as much visibility. And when it comes to our features on our own artists, you know, I agree that a bias is something to avoid, and I feel that, you know, just stating the facts, because obviously, as Erin said, the artists that are with Jupiter Theory, there's a reason that they're with Jupiter Theory. So we don't have to stroke any egos when covering these artists, but, you know, stating the facts that this album is coming out. These are the bands to be looking out for. You know, I feel like there's such a way to do this without just looking like, you know, just some fanboys with internet access.
Yeah, I mean, there's a level of integrity that comes with just being honest, and you have to be honest with those that you're working with. You know, I tell John all the time what an asshole he is. I'm just being honest.
It's not wrong.
You know, but no, joking aside, I think that's important. No matter who it is, there's a difference between going out and shredding someone publicly and just putting out just an honest, representation of your opinion of what they're doing. I think that's important for maintaining the integrity of what you're trying to accomplish.
Definitely. And then when it comes to the photography and videography side of things, I feel like, this gives us the opportunity to have a little control on quality of content. I've being a photographer that's constantly in a photo pit, it's become an oversaturated field. So as I'm also, going on about how great the photographers are in the scene, there's also a lot of people that just have internet access that, they somehow have enough followers that these venues see their traffic. They go, okay, you can come to the show. And you got people that don't know the etiquette of being at a show and photographing them, sticking their camera in front of other photographers, standing in front of other photographers. So I like to think that, this is an opportunity for us to kind of curve the scene a little, and lead by example. Mm-hmm. I don't want to bring anybody into this that isn't, someone that is a professional, knows what they're doing, knows how to behave out in public places, shooting these shows. I feel that theory and Jupiter theory are going to be very, respectable names in the music scene. And I like to think that all the people that I have a vision of coming onto this just kind of see that as well.
No, I think that's important. John and I have talked about this in another episode, and I've dealt with this on the photography side and on the journalism side of things, exactly what you're talking about. And one of the things John and I had a great conversation we're very grateful about is on the sports side. I worked originally as an intern, then as a paid employee for the Dallas Cowboys for years as a writer, and then I did some photography for them. I was bottom of the totem pole. I mean, I was not anywhere near the level of the people around me. But what was great was all of those around me, including those on competitive newspapers. I mean, I was with the team, but even with, competitive newspapers or whatever they were doing, everybody had a respect for everybody else. They were willing to help you. They were willing to teach you, especially me at the time. I was a young guy. They were willing to help and all that. And I think it was the same on the writing side. As a writer, I had some great conversations with some of the legends of Dallas media about, what we were doing. And John has had similar experiences, working with the Capitals and all that. But excuse me. But I think theory's in a unique position to, the obvious part is, helping the bands. Like you said, getting, recognition for the writers, photographers, the behind the scenes people, but also to educate. Mm-hmm. You
Exactly.
can bring in the people and talk to them about this is how it's done. Go crazy with creativity. That's on you. But from a X's and O's standpoint, from if you want to go a sports metaphor, this is how it's done.
What you're saying though is actually, it's funny because when I was starting out, I was that photographer that didn't know the etiquettes of being in the photo pit. I had my camera up in the air, and I will give a shout out to photographer Debbie Delgran, who we were at, was it Beach Goth, one of the Growlers music festivals, and she pulls me aside after a band and goes, "Hey, I just want to show you some of my photos," and my camera's in every one of her photos, and she goes, "Don't do that." And she's become a really good friend now, and she's an amazing photographer, works for iHeartRadio and Cinespia, and she's incredible. And when I pass that information along, I always say, Debbie Delgran pulled me aside one day and pretty much told me I was being an asshole in that photo pit. And I
sounded very nice about it too.
She was, but she was kind of clenching her teeth when she was telling me. She was like, she wanted to lay into me, but I think that's kind of, I want us to be, as I said, lead by example. I want us to be able to teach the up and coming media, so that way we're not just the only ones holding the standard of non-bias and keeping a standard of content, but then we kind of pass that on to others. So then it kind of creates a standard in the scene of how to behave and perform. And because, you know, it's become kind of the Wild West. Everybody's got a blog. A lot of these people are just college kids. And, you know, it's just, I think it needs to be tamed a little.
Sure.
It's funny with Cookie's comments and your comments about this is exactly one of the things that I brought up when I initially emailed Erin too, was like, especially for her bands when they go on tour, like actually opening up a credential portal. So not to say, it does add legitimacy to an act. It makes it look like they're a bigger deal than they are when people have to get approved to come in there and take photos. But also it lets people know immediately there's going to be rules and standards that you have to meet, because like you know, like I did the same thing. My very first concert I ever shot was Chevelle. They're big at the time, and there's no reason for me to stick my camera up. It wasn't even that high of a stage, but I was just trying to work around other people, and somebody other than I'm short, I get it, Cookie, 5'8", but you know, someone pulled me aside and was nowhere near that nice. They called me every name in the book, said you're a newbie, like get the fuck out of here, you don't belong here. I'm just like, whoa. And so the next day I'm like, I messaged a couple of my friends. I'm like, hey, when you're at a show, what do you do? And they had to tell me.
Probably a conversation you should have had the day before.
Yeah, but you know, it's kind of like what Taylor was saying. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
You know, you just go in and you think about it. And I was working with a 1DX Mark II at the time, so it's not like I had a flip screen. So I was just up in a pray and spray on that.
Yeah.
And so you learn a lot from people, but at the same time, where not only are you setting the standards, it's great to create something where you're the people that people want to learn from, because they know, like, there is a level of respect, even for the new people, because we were all the new people at one point.
Yeah.
And so, you know, but again, you know what it's like. You know what it's like being the one doing everything wrong at that moment. You're just like, holy shit. Like, thank you for screaming at me, but not physically beating me up right now. But yeah, I said this to Erin, like there's so many photographers at shows. It seems like the level of what you need to get approved has gone down. And then you end up with the people that are just so used to getting able to shoot every show, they think they run the joint. And, you know, I even just because everybody knows me for working with the Capitals, even if I'm shooting a show which has nothing to do with it, I can't act the fool here, because if it gets back, I'm still representing them, even when I'm not doing anything that has anything to do with them.
Yep.
100%.
And so, yeah, and you have to be conscious of that. And maybe that's me getting older. How many times are one of us going to say something about getting older? But, you know,
my God, my back is killing me. I'm just kidding.
you learn. Yeah, and there's Cookie. I mean, Cookie's 109 years old right now, so I mean, you gotta give him credit.
Man, I got you beat. I'm 110.
46 days away, John. 46
And
days.
50 from Cookie's gonna be 50 soon. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a cool thing, and it's like where, you know, the word control can be misconstrued pretty heavily, but it's all protecting. It's protecting the scene. It's protecting your artist.
Yeah.
And you know, through the few conversations we have, I think every time we talk, there's a new idea of, yeah, we should do that. And that's kind of the exciting part, but also at the part where sometimes one of us, primarily me, probably needs to be reeled in to relax.
We'll have a code word. We're going to park that for now.
Oh, yes. No, honestly, it's not even a code word. It's a safe word.
Okay.
Well, Cookie's response now is just like, what? So,
Yeah.
But you know what? That's the better thing about it, with having almost in this kind of situation, you have more hands in the pot. It prevents something like that. So, I mean, you know, we talked about these plans. We have the ideas. We're going to have the Music Day podcast, which is really going to be powered by Jupiter Theory Agency and the Theory Media Group kind of together, because it's going to be those. Obviously, when a new artist gets signed on, we have a time. We want to bring them on and talk to them. Erin's going to be joining us individually because, again, she's got to be on camera more. So she's going to be joining us for an episode.
We got to talk hockey.
In our second
sure.
Oh, I guess that means we have to have her on twice then, Cookie. We'll have her on the sports day and the music day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and
perfect.
I let the Dallas Cowboys stuff slide, just because.
Oh, John will tell you, I'm not a Cowboys fan. I love the people I worked with. They're amazing. I'm still friends with them. I could give a damn about what the team does.
Yeah, Eagles fan, so I got my green on
More power
today.
to you. I'm from Dallas. John, what am I? I'm a terrible Texan.
You're the worst Texan in
I'm
history.
the worst Texan that's ever existed. I'm a horrible Texan, and I wear
Well,
that
who's
proudly.
your team?
I'm not even a football guy.
Oh,
That's part of the
come
terrible
on.
Texan thing.
No Friday Night Lights for
Yeah.
you.
No, I mean I like University of Oklahoma football, but that's about it. When it
Yeah,
comes to that sport.
As a Texas resident, he likes University of Oklahoma. That's grounds for jail right there.
Yeah, really, man.
But
Well, it gets better because my dad and my aunt went to University of Texas, so yeah,
see, there you go.
and their dad went to Texas A&M, so we're just a really, really happy
Jeez.
family.
Good Lord, there's too much. That's too much rivalry. I grew up being a fan of Syracuse football, which means I was a threat to nobody, and I'm a Giants fan, which means I was only a threat to the Patriots, and which is everybody's happy with. Nobody cares about the Giants otherwise, and especially the Eagles
True.
fan over there.
Ah.
But
I literally
So
grew
bad.
up in East Rutherford, so imagine that Giants and the Jets are in my backyard, and I could literally care less. I actually found it more annoying than anything, and I
That they were both called the New York teams
yeah,
when they're
I
not
hate
even
that.
in New York.
Like, why are we doing that? So it's
in all fairness, the Giants
it's
started
Fugazi.
in New York City.
It's a
So
Fugazi, okay?
it is.
Fugazi, Fugazi.
Well, now that we already got the sports tensions happening, that's a good sign for the future there. But I guess that's what, especially when you're dealing with a Jersey person. But that's my actual hang up is the Jersey thing. Cookie's heard me say it before with our other Jersey guests that we've had, which were two other ones. But with Jupiter Theory and Theory Media Group, we got a lot of cool things that are in the works. I'm really looking forward to the music podcast day. It was an idea we kicked around. Actually, we have Frankus to thank for that. Because it was just really cool learning about their side of the music. Like I was in bands long ago. The industry is so different from when I was in bands and how to get signed and doing all this stuff. I was part of the MySpace boom, and we booked our tours. Yeah, we booked our tours off of MySpace,
Exactly.
and we were able to put up some videos and songs on there. But I mean, it was like what 260p at the time, and it was.
I
it was
miss
pretty-
ranking my friends.
Yeah, I do miss ranking my friends as well.
Bring it
But,
back. Bring it
Which
back.
actually,
Tom, where are you, Tom?
Taylor, I don't know if you know this, MySpace Tom, after he sold MySpace, became a photographer, and now
Yeah.
he travels the world taking pictures.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes,
I do
follow
remember.
his page. He actually does good stuff, and he's like really into golf right now too. So if you care,
He's amazing.
Right.
He's
He's
living
really
our
good.
dream, is what he's doing. But we got the podcast day coming up. The journalism part's going to be great. And it's a building process to do all that and get everything of those things going. Working with the bands, and then we've kicked around a bunch of other ideas, even from doing like video reviews or live video stuff, and then even the idea of like just broadcasting shows live, and finding the proper ways to do that where it'll
we'll
because
monetize
quality.
it. Yeah, quality,
monetizing
and I can assure you, a lot of these bands too. That okay, so thank God for data and analytics, and this is where my nerd hat comes in. I'm like, okay, so cool. All your fans are in Sweden and Norway and like whatever. Okay, I guess there's some fans here too, but like, we want to bring the show to them
Yeah.
because they're like your top streaming people. So this is exactly why we should do it. And I'm sure there's some gatekeeping that goes along with those things too, but we'll wiggle our way in there and figure it out.
Well, it's already huge in the sports world. I mean,
Yeah.
Cookie and I coached Junior A together, and when it was really just starting to take off of being able to stream games online through a subscription service or a per game service, and the quality, depending on where you were, like not everybody had access to gigabit internet, so it was dependent on the quality. We watch all of Cookie's home games are on YouTube, on their team's YouTube
Oh, cool.
channel.
Nice.
So there's a way to do it.
He and Frankus have done live.
Live,
God, it's so
we
bad.
did live podcasts.
They did
with
live
Cookie's games going
reactions to
Oh
two
my
of my
gosh.
games, and
Well, don't
including
let
our
me in
only
there. Oh boy.
our only loss of the season they watched. I was like,
Actually, Erin, I
it's
think
their
now
fault.
we absolutely have to loop you in there.
I'll be like,
But
who's their parent?
but-
No, just kidding.
but that's just the future of what's going on, and there's not enough people grasping what they have the opportunity to do. So being linked up with Erin and Taylor it's refreshing because a lot of times you have ideas and you're like, well, nobody's gonna be on board with this, and then all I did was send an email and they were on board and more, and had their own plan on stuff. So it's great to be linked up with you guys. It's great to be partnered up with you guys. It's cool because, you know, especially me and Taylor were on different coasts, and Erin's familiar with both coasts, to really take on a lot of stuff. And then having so much of these skills of Cookie from being in journalism, and he knows the professional side of the journalism world as well, which is going to be extremely helpful.
And I'm right in between all of you.
Yeah, Cookie's right down there. He's in Springfield, Missouri. So
there you
Center of the
go.
country.
Cookie's right in the guts there. So
Yeah.
I mean, you know, before we wrap it up here, I mean, Erin, what kind of message you want to put out about what you're going to be doing, and not really what you're going to be doing, but what people in a nutshell have to look forward to?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I got to tell you, we just dropped 3 more bands over the last 2 days on the Jupiter Theory side of things. We have another one coming on. I mean, not all of them are artist management clients. We have some that are just straight booking. But for those bands that are coming on for booking, they're a little bit larger. They have their own artist manager. So we're really excited to bring them on because they'll be doing longer leg tours, and we'll be looking to get them also into Europe. But then as far as the theory side of things, you know, we really want to be the curator of subculture here. Like that is the epitome of what we're doing, and we're just so excited to start knocking out some of our interviews and just really putting the pen to paper of what we want to talk about. You know, we want to talk about lifestyle. We want to talk about musical influences. We want to talk about, like, you know, what was your favorite band when you were growing up, and do you even listen to them anymore? Because believe it or not, some people don't, you know, like their taste has changed so much, or maybe some people it's still in their rotation. I am one of those people. I've got a curated playlist for every mood. Boy, let me tell you. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I'll hand it over to Taylor to wrap it up and talk about what we've got coming up.
Well, honestly, my closing statement is I'm just happy to be here. You know, Erin and I have been in discussion about a lot of things, and I'm just very excited for what Theory has coming up. We've talked about. I mean, we can talk about all the ideas we've got, but I think just this is going to be big. And I'm excited for everybody to see what we're about to do.
Yeah, I have to agree. You know, and I'm not saying that just because these are my businesses or my ideas that kind of came to this, but you know, in your gut, like, people believe in this, and it also really starts with a basic thing, which is kindness and loyalty, which is extremely important to me, and I know to Taylor. I mean, we wouldn't even be going into a business relationship with each other if we didn't feel that connection. And John, I would say right off the bat, you know, we talked on the phone for, I don't know, 40 minutes almost or something, our first conversation. It was like everything led to something else where we had a connection. And
You had me at hockey.
oh, well. I mean, I got to tell you, if I need to get back on the ice. So that's been a big North Star for me. So I know I have a lot on my plate right now, but I'm going to get there. But, you know, this is going to be big. This is going to be big. But we don't want to be like crazy big in our first year because, you know, there's that burnout factor. We want to just ride this high and do everything the right way and really stick to the plan, because there is too much that could go wrong in a short period of time. I mean, you see it all the time with artists and people and businesses and things like that. I mean, new businesses fizzle out. They never make it past their first year. That's not going to be our story. I can tell you that right now.
Well, especially when you're talking about dealing with creatives, there's always unknowns.
Right.
Always unknowns. So, yeah, no, that's important.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for all this. You know, I couldn't be happier that I reached out to Erin. Because there's ideas I've had for a while, and like, even though we were starting the music podcast day regardless, it adds a new energy to it. It adds, like I said, that vehicle that's really important to it, and it takes it from just interviewing musicians to now it's like, well, we can really talk about anybody in the business at all. Like, I can't wait to have Taylor on and talk about being a photographer and shooting concerts and working with these guys off the scenes, because most people in music photography, their vision can't take them further than shooting a show. Like, they don't think about the editing process. They don't think about getting stuff to them. They certainly don't think about compensation, because everyone thinks it's a free industry right now. So, you know, there's just so much to learn about it, and to be able to kind of, you know, you just said that's your North Star right now, kind of be other people's North Star of the industry. God damn, that's a great expression too, Erin. But, you know, just to do that, and just to add to what you guys are doing, and to add stuff to what we're doing as far as what me and Cookie are building on this side of things as well. Because, you know, you talk about friendship, loyalty. I mean, Cookie and I have known each other for a little over 15 years now. And from coaching with each other, and coaching in probably one of the worst coaching situations you can imagine. Like,
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Cookie and I trauma bonded heavily over our coaching experience. So, but you know, there's just it's a lot of stuff that ends up being pretty symbiotic, and it's going to be fun doing it, and also it's going to pave a new path to just doing a lot more in the industry and having fun with it. So we're looking forward to having Erin on as one of our, probably actually our first guest for as far as the music podcast goes. And then we're going to have Taylor shortly after that as well, because just, again, hearing from somebody as seasoned as Taylor on the photography side of stuff is going to be eye-opening. And as many concerts as I've shot and as Cookie has shot, I'm pretty sure we're going to hear things that go, holy shit, I had no idea. So we look forward to that, and people really get to look forward to more with everybody, with Erin and Taylor, and get used to their faces on our podcast, everybody. Especially Erin, we're getting you on all the time.
Oh man, here we go. I promise to be a little more like nimble and not so, you know, OCD over the questions and things like that. But, you know, I really do love this, and thank you so much for the opportunity. This is just such fun.
No, thank you guys.
Cookie and I need discipline and organization sometimes, Erin, so it might be helpful, if anything.
Don't group me into that.
Especially Cookie needs the organization. But Erin and Taylor, we thank you guys for coming on with us here. You know, we look forward to seeing more and everything that we're going to have going on in the future.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thanks,
you guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks.
So that is Erin and Taylor, and I creatively looped Cookie into the disorganization of things when I fully admitted earlier I am the problem. I wish I was wearing my Taylor Swift t-shirt right now.
We're not talking about that yet. That's
No.
episode 1.
Oh, God, I know. It's so great. It's honestly, I want to record it today.
I had a funny, I'll tell you when we're off air, I have a funny thought about that too.
Oh, excellent. So, but we thank Taryn, Jesus.
Taryn.
It's both of them together. They are now Taryn. I actually work with a Taryn, which is even funnier.
Angelina.
Yep. We thank Erin and Taylor for coming on.
Yeah.
Taylor's done a lot of really cool things in photography, and you know, definitely going to be a huge asset to everything and what we're all doing here. And it's just gonna add fun to music again versus just talking about it, like getting a little bit involved. And I can't wait to continue to throw Cookie into new fires without telling him first. So
Yeah, well, it happens. It happened.
but we thank everybody for joining us for our Not Yet Back episode number 3. We're gonna have a whole season of Not Yet Back.
I know.
I think this might be the last one before we actually come back, though.
Well, I'm not going to commit to that at this point.
Well, luckily, like I have games and the mentors trip.
I think you're right, but I'm not going to commit to that. And if there is something else, it'll probably be a short in there somewhere from
An impromptu. It'll be an impromptu. Something crazy will happen to me, and Cookie will be like, well. So should I basically bring my mic with me on the mentors trip just in case?
Sure.
Road, send me that little travel thing.
You should anyways, if you might run into Tyler.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. We're the thing that stinks about that is like we get into Chicago, we play
kind
the
of
next
in and
night.
out though, right?
Yeah, we get into Chicago, we play the next night, we leave for Nashville. We have practice the next day, play in Nashville and gone. And even when we did the trip last year in Florida, we had 2 days in Tampa. So they were able to do something else. We went on the dinner cruise. That was actually pretty cool. But I think they're just going to kind of, the players and parents are probably going to want to visit Broadway down there in Nashville.
Yeah.
And we're practicing at Antioch. So I'll be able to check out the Wish Cup location while I'm there.
Yeah. Get some sighting photos to send so we know where we're gonna try and set up.
I'll strap my 360 camera onto my bag while I'm walking around.
Yeah,
So.
if we're gonna be, it's better to set up downstairs or upstairs.
Yeah. So, but yeah, hey, look, we ended the show with a tangent, just like we do.
Man,
What do you guys expect?
that's what we're supposed to do.
But we thank everybody for tuning in, and like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
There will be
and
some
comment.
changes coming to the channel, by the way, that we talked about today.
Oh yes, there are. Yeah.
So
Maybe that should be a short.
that'll be a short. But we're not going anywhere. You just might see a little bit different branding on here.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, we're still all angles. Obviously, you can see behind me. I've got the Jupiter Theory and the Theory Media Group.
Oh, I forgot to bring that up to them too, because that's cool.
But yeah, that's not the branding he's talking about. It's something else. But yeah.
Just
anyway.
stuff within the page to make it easier to find us and everything.
Yeah,
like that,
to
so.
kind of simplify and not confuse things.
Yeah. So we got a full season.
Leaving us.
Yeah, Cookie, you wish. But we got season 1 under our belt, and to pat ourselves on the back quite a bit. Considering we never did it before, jumping in and doing it, we've gotten really good reviews.
Yeah.
So it builds confidence in what we're doing, and I'm pretty excited for everything. And like I said before, we got cool group of guests that are going to be coming on next season.
Yeah.
And just a lot more things that'll be happening. So I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, tell our family members. They don't listen to us.
My stepmom. Thank you, Trish.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trish, for watching.
And I heard last night, because again, as I said at the very beginning, I was at Holdfast last night for their New Year's show, and Mackenzie, who I mentioned in the last episode, was the first non-hockey person I bonded with here. She said she watched the last episode, probably because her name was mentioned in the short.
Oh yeah.
But she said, you watched the whole thing?" She goes, "Well, the last half." Oh, I said, you just wanted to hear that part in full. But no, it's all good.
I'll take it.
Mac's awesome. I love her.
That's awesome. I can't wait to come out there. Honestly, it's always good to see Cookie, but you've talked up Holdfast so much, and I'm not even a beer person. I'm just ready to go there.
Yeah, no, they got some other stuff, but yeah, it's a brewery, so it's beer. No mixed drinks except for some canned things, but whatever.
Hey man, I'll deal with it. I'll have a beer when I'm there. I'll enjoy it. So
they've got some good ones.
Yeah, you would know. That sounded so snide. I'm like, you would know.
Yeah. Wow. I'm just a raging alcoholic, apparently.
Whoa. Not what I said. You
Rude.
alky. Not what I said, you alky. But yeah, thank you guys again. And
and don't forget to find us on Spotify.
Yep.
You can't even really see it, but it's there.
And YouTube, Spotify, and the allanglespodcast.com.
Yeah, that's there as well. Yeah. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you next time. Bye. I'm not going nuts this season.
Cookie's tamed it down.
We got to be professional, man.
Right. Cool.